So the Silent Hill 2 remake is a little over a month old at this point, and I was going to make a video on it, but between laziness and just going through everyday life, I think part of me has kind of always wanted to release this video. If you're watching this and you are new to the channel or you're new to me, I'm a huge fan of Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 is one of the deepest, darkest, most amazing video games to ever release in the history of gaming. The original Silent Hill 2 is a timeless game that deserves to be re-released on every platform all the time for the rest of eternity, and it's really an absolute shame that Konami just doesn't keep releasing the game over and over again. But we do have it. We have a remake of Silent Hill 2, and it is absolutely, positively amazing. Ignoring some glaring issues like performance as well as censorship and changes to some of the more delicate parts of the game, including the nurse designs, I have to say, this is, for modern day gaming, one of the best remakes ever made, and if I wasn't such a Resident Evil 4 fanboy, I would say it is the best remake ever made. This is going to be a full-on glaze of the game because I love it so much, and I think they've created something timeless here, and after playing it, I have one message to Bloober Team. Make more of them. Remake 1, Remake 3, add more content to 2, give me the Born from a Wish scenario, and if you're watching this, you're a minute and a half in, and you're questioning yourself, should I buy this game? Go out and buy it when it's on sale, if you can't afford it now, or buy it right now. It is that good of a game. Just hopping right in, the moment I picked up this game and started playing this game and getting into the shoes of James Sunderland for the first time in many years in a brand new form, I was absolutely starstruck to see that Silent Hill had in fact returned and was in front of me. And it felt like it had been forever, but at the same time, it also felt so familiar. And that's because they painstakingly went through and recreated Silent Hill so dang accurately to the original game. Starting off James's story from the Silent Hill overlook and just going down the pathway to the town of Silent Hill felt so familiar, and it just filled me with excitement and joy to be able to experience something for the first time again in my life, just as I had experienced Resident Evil 4 for the first time again a year prior. Once you play, the first thing you're going to notice is just how perfectly the atmosphere comes together to create one of the greatest sandboxes in all of gaming. Between the music, the ambience of the sounds, the environment, the graphics, the chosen grayscaling of the environment, and just the rustic look of Silent Hill, you really feel like you're getting into something. You feel like you're bringing yourself into a whole new world. You're immersing yourself on this walk all the way to Silent Hill, and you're getting ready to learn the story of James Sunderland. Upon arrival to Silent Hill, we find ourselves in Silent Hill Cemetery, greeted by Angela, and we have one of the most awkward conversations of all time. Now, in comparison to Silent Hill 2, the original, I was expecting the voice acting to be much more professional, and it was much more professional. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to match the original Silent Hill 2, so with that understanding, I held it to a standard of at least holding a candle to the original. And when comparing it to something that is basically flawless, I thought for the most part it was a good introduction for what was to come. And then finally, we walk into foggy Silent Hill, the greatest horror staple of any game franchise on Earth, and it looks absolutely astounding. For years, we have had issues with fog in Silent Hill games, not nailing Silent Hill, and just not making Silent Hill feel scary. Once again, if you turn the lights off and you play Silent Hill 2, it feels as uneasy, as freaky, as scary as possible. It truly is one of the most memorable and special moments of gaming when you not only get to go into Silent Hill for the first time again, but you also get to see it in a modern day gloss. You get to see a beautiful 1440, 4K, 1080p, whatever you're doing, you get to see a beautiful landscape. And of course, when I say beauty, I mean the beauty of ambience, the beauty of depression, the beauty of sadness and rusticness. Silent Hill is by no means a happy game. It is a game that brings mental illness to the forefront. It is a game that goes into the deepest, darkest parts of your mind, and it brings out some of the most morally demanding questions from you, and it asks you as the player to follow James on his journey and figure out why this very normal looking guy, this very unburdened almost guy, is doing in a town like this. Why is he risking his life? Why is he fighting these monsters? Why are they appearing? Why is this town seemingly trying to kill him? And most importantly, why does he not care? Why does he seem at every turn to put himself in danger, putting his hand in toilets and random walls? What are you doing, James? You are a perfectly normal, almost reasonable guy. What are you doing in Silent Hill? And at this point in the video, if I haven't sold you on the game, I don't know what more I can do to sell this to you. So if you're up to here and you haven't played it, go play it, because now I'm getting into spoiler territory and I'm going to start talking about the rest of the game. So as a Silent Hill 2 fan looking backwards and comparing it to the original game and coming in as a second time player, I have to say that the puzzles were engaging, they were fun, and had a lot of spirit put into them. I'm a huge fan of the Toluca prison puzzle, and I think the hospital puzzle in all was actually really well done with the box, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that the box had absolutely nothing in it. When it comes to surprises though, I was also pleasantly surprised with just how much there is to explore and see in the town. In the original game, exploration was rewarded, but because we're in a third-person over-the-shoulder camera, we have a lot more inspecting we can do, and we can look at a lot of the storefronts, and we can really get a good idea of what's going on in this town. Plus, we have the added addition of being able to break in windows of cars, which is a lot of fun. I found myself roaming the town for literal hours, trying to find every nook and cranny, every collectible, which I still haven't done. I actually have to go back and do a collectibles only run, and I think I'm only missing like 3 or 4 achievements at this point. But overall, the town gets an A+. Now, when it comes to the side characters being Maria, Angela, Laura, and Eddie, I have to say they knocked it out of the park. People have issues with the designs of the characters, which I can understand, but once again, I said I was not going to hold it against the game, specifically because I thought it didn't have much of an impact, in my opinion. So I did have a big issue with the nurse cleavages, because that's supposed to show and symbolize a lot of sexual frustration within James, but when it comes to the side characters, especially Angela, I don't think the look of them really changed how I felt about them. I feel just as bad for Angela as I ever would have in the original. I mean, her story is truly horrifying, and she is 100% a victim, and I think everyone can agree that Angela is one of the saddest stories I have ever heard of in a video game. Maria is well acted, she's nowhere near as over-sexualized as she was in the original game, which I also have another issue with, but once again, it didn't change the way that the tone was going for this specific remake. Was it the difference between a 9 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10? Absolutely. But is the game still absolutely stellar? Yes. Now, I'm gonna save Laura for last because I have a lot to say about her, but Eddie was a great character this time around as well. I really enjoyed seeing Eddie and his fat slob self in the movie theater instead of Pete's Bolorama having a conversation with Laura, and it really gave us more of a look into him as a character. I like how we get a little more personal time with Eddie, but I don't think the build-up of him becoming insane and trying to kill you was as glorious as it was in the original game, so I am going to dock it a little bit there. But let's talk about Laura. Instead of being a complete and utter brat of a character, she is significantly more fleshed out, lovable, well-designed, and overall my favorite character in the entire game. Laura is the best side character in Silent Hill 2. It really makes you wish that there was a parallel universe somewhere where Mary and James had Laura as the daughter of their own. And I am leaving out one very important character, and that is Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head is back, and he looks glorious. The character model is insane. Unfortunately, with the newer color palette and the way games are today, he's just not as scary as he was in the past, but he is still absolutely horrifying. They kept the mystique of the character, and the boss fights with him are just downright exhilarating. And that's the thing about Silent Hill 2. I just want more. I want more Pyramid Head. I want more Silent Hill 2. I almost wish that they made like a second version of the game that had even more content. More. And that led me to this thought in this video. Silent Hill's back. Like, there's actually a future for this franchise. And that's why I'm being so positive. For the first time in many, many years, there's hope for the Silent Hill franchise. And that makes me very happy, because these games are important pieces of art. They're important pieces of storytelling. And Silent Hill 2, above all, is one of the most important games of all time. And I'm happy that I was able to play this and share my love of the game in a video that was honestly unscripted and I've just been doing by bullet points. In a time where I have so many things going on, I was able to just turn on some Silent Hill and escape reality and go into a dangerous, a demanding, a depressing, and most importantly, an engaging world. And that's something we just don't have in modern video games anymore. The storyline of this game is going to be beaten into the ground. The new signs that the game's giving us is going to be beaten into the ground. The lore of Silent Hill 2 grows and grows and grows, even 20 years after the release of the dang game. Sorry, let me be more specific, 23 years. So, really, with that being said, play the game. Play the original. Don't play the HD collection if you can't, but if you have to, then I guess it's somewhat of a way to play the game. But play it on an emulator, play it on a PS2, play the original, play the remake, get into Silent Hill, play the originals, and really demand Konami keep doing this, because this was awesome. This was a great game. And yes, the censorship and the changes are something that definitely need to be talked about. I have been way more political recently, so I do understand people's outcry, but I am celebrating that we have a Silent Hill game. And I know it might be hypocritical, but I'm just happy we have Silent Hill back. And I hope my love of the game spreads to other people who also understand how special Silent Hill is. And I hope if you're this far into the video and you haven't played the game, that you play it. So yeah, this has kind of just been a huge glaze of the game. Don't even know what I'm going to call the video. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video whenever that happens, and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and bye.
This place is getting to me too. Am I crazy? You know, for thinking she could be here.